Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I'd like to show you how you can quickly, easily and cheaply increase the strength and rigidity of a budget drawer that you might find in some budget flat pack furniture. So if you want to increase the strength of the drawers in your furniture, or you just want to increase the lifespan of some of your drawers, then this is the video for you.
So today I'll be doing two drawers with slightly different designs, and for this you'll need a few items. You'll need some glue, a damp cloth, a screwdriver, a brush and some clamps if you have them.
Okay, so to dismantle this cheap drawer, the first thing to do, I'm going to locate these cam locks on the sides, and you can just twist them into the off position with a Phillips screwdriver in my case, and I'll just do the other side, and that should release the front mechanism. Don't worry if you have to bash it a little bit. Sometimes they have a dowel in here. This just has these metal shafts. So that's the front piece off. Now we can take the bottom out. That should just slide out. So this bottom is made of hardboard, which is like a compressed paper. If you have some thin plywood, you might want to replace this base now with some thin plywood, just by using this as a template to draw around, and then you can cut out the plywood, which is a better quality material, and slot that back into the space. Now we want to take these sides off. So in my case there is some Phillips screws, and these are chipboard screws. I'll just show you that in a moment. So I'm just going to remove those now. I'm not using a drill because I don't want to damage anything. It's better to do this by hand. Okay, so they should look like that. Thick chipboard screws, and they grab nicely into the chipboard. So when working with the PVA glue, you might want to put down a cover to protect your table. I've got like a plastic sheet here because you don't want to be cleaning up glue off of your table. So now we have the two screws out. I'm going to do one side at a time. It keeps this upright. If you take the other side apart, the whole thing will fall apart. So where these screw heads went in, they were just sitting flush with the top of the wood. You don't have to do this, but I'm just going to give them a quick countersink. And that will just allow the heads to sit better in the wood and give a better fixing. So now what we need to do is, I'm going to just take this down. So at this point you could scrape away the veneer on this part of the drawer to get better glue adhesion. I'm not going to bother. I don't think it's really necessary. Now I'm going to take the glue and spread it on to this end, and then just using a brush I can just get it all over it. And not to worry about glue getting on the rest of the drawer. We can use the damp cloth in a moment to remove it. So we've got some glue on there. Add a bit of glue here. Okay, they're both glued up. Now I can reattach this. It's good to do this on a nice flat surface to keep everything in line and square. Just going to reattach these again using a screwdriver and not a drill. We don't want to damage anything. Just making sure everything's nice and in line still. And you can see those heads now are nice and flush with that slight countersink. Then I can just take the damp cloth and just wipe off the excess glue. That is the one side done. You can see that's been glued and reattached now. It's nice and square. So I'm just going to repeat that on the other side, and then we can move on to finishing the rest. Okay, that's the two sides connected to the back, glued, and I've countersunk the heads of those screws, which helps them to sit better in the wood, nice and flush, and we've got a nice tight fixing here, so that should help with strength. Now we need to add the bottom of the drawer back in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just flip this up, and I'm going to start adding glue into this channel here that connects with the base. Now the drawer is flipped up on its back, and we can add some glue to this channel. That's why it's nice to have a narrow tip on your glue bottle, but if not, you can always use the brush to get into those tight spaces. So once the glue is in, we can take the brush then and just work it into that channel. There we go. So there's glue all in this channel now. Now we can add this back panel, making sure it's the right way up, and it will just slot into the channel. Like so. Now we can reattach the front of the drawer. So before we do that, we want to add some more glue again to these front parts, and where it connects to the drawer front you can scrape off a bit of the veneer if you wish to get better adhesion. Just going to take the brush again to work it into this chipboard. So the idea is to just overall strengthen this drawer throughout. The glue should offer a permanent fixing and really stiffen up the drawer, as this is sort of flat pack furniture that's assembled and it's never quite solid because it doesn't have any glue or strong joinery. So before I put this front back on, I'm just going to add some glue to this channel on the drawer front, and then work it all in with the brush. The brush just helps to get the glue spread nicely to get a better contact. No need to worry about the glue squeeze out, we can remove that with the damp cloth in a moment. Now to reattach the front, we can use those metal shafts just to help line everything up. Making sure that everything is connected properly. And that base is in the channels. Just wiggle it about a bit until you get it right. Now we can relock these cam locks by turning them clockwise. And then to make sure everything's nice and tightly squeezed together, I'm going to use these clamps, one on either side. If you don't have any clamps, you don't necessarily need to do this, but I have some clamps, so I'm going to do it just for added pressure. Just squeezing this front onto the bottom until the glue dries. So then the final thing to do is to just remove any excess glue squeeze out with a damp cloth. It's better to use warm water, it seems to pick up the glue better, but cold water is fine. It's much easier to remove with a damp cloth than a dry cloth. And that is it. This drawer has been strengthened up with nothing but glue, and it's very cheap to do and quite effective. It does increase the rigidity of the drawer and make it last longer. Here is another Flatpack cheap drawer that I'm going to strengthen up. You might have one similar to this. This is a bit of a different design to the one I've just done. So again, I'm going to remove these cam locks which are on the inside of this drawer with the Phillips screwdriver, and then the front should come off. This one just takes a bit of persuasion because it has a couple of dowels which are helping it to stay together. So now that's all apart. And underneath on this one there is some little plastic brackets just to help the drawer not to belly, so I'll just remove those for now. Okay, so on this one, with the back, it is just two mitered pieces that come away. So I'm just going to lay those flat. So with those laid out flat, I think I can add the glue to these mitered joints. And then while I'm at it, I'm going to add glue to this channel as well, because it's just easier to access like this. Then I can take the brush and just work it into these mitered joints. And into the channel. Now this can be put back into place, pulling these mitered joints back inwards, and when they connect you should get a nice squeeze on the glue. Now we can add the base, because we've already added glue to this channel. There we go. Now we can just move on to the front, adding glue here. So I'm going to add some glue to these front exposed chipboard ends, and there's a couple of dowels, one on either side. I'm going to add glue to that too. I'm also going to add glue to this channel at the front. And work it in with the brush. Now I can reconnect this front. Just getting everything lined up nicely. Now just pushing everything back into position. The dowel and the metal shaft should help to align everything, and that's it. Everything's lined up. I can now tighten up these locks inside. And then the final thing to do is to just remove any excess glue with the damp cloth. And that's the job done. So I've left this drawer until the following day, and the glue has dried and it really feels stiff now. It's difficult to show on camera, but there's no movement at all in this drawer now. It is quite a bit more rigid and strong than it was before I glued it up. Okay, so that is about it for this video. It was really quick and easy to do. Probably took 10-15 minutes per drawer, and they're much more rigid now and solid. So if you did find this video useful, please remember to like and also consider subscribing for more DIY related videos. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.